Hello and welcome to the second episode of my Need for Speed series, where I take all the cars in the game and review them one by one. And this being episode 2, we're reviewing cars 4, 5, and 6. The cars number 4 being the Chevrolet Bel-Air from 1955, the Ford Mustang from 1965, and the Volvo 242DL from 1975. Is we will be doing this circuit to test cornering capabilities, and I will be adding this inner circuit to test speed. This will give a more concisive test to the cars, and I will also be more heavily trying to explain and give better ratings for each statistic as I go through. We have an interesting surprise from the Bel-Air here. It did almost exactly as well as that Beetle from the last episode. So today's episode, Chevy, it seems like it's fun to drive. I wouldn't say it's fast by any means, like not the fastest, but the way it's fun to drive. So in terms of fun to drive stock, so far I'm giving it a I'd say I give it a 7 out of 10, and it's almost as fast as the Beetle from the first episode, so it's doing pretty good so far. The Ford Mustang, showing off its pony car prowess by beating the Bel-Air and consequently the VW Beetle by 8 seconds. Now, seeing this is no doubt, considering it has about twice the horsepower, and okay, I didn't do it that time, but in the race, when it launches, it wheel spins. So far, the Mustang is definitely a good contender. Well, it's literally the downside: brakes. There is no such thing as brakes on this thing, but it is the best contender for fastest car, and so far the most fun to drive, considering the fact it slides through the corners in a very fun way. Now on to the speed test track. The Volvo. It is the slowest car today at a 251 around the track. So it appears that almost a 252, but it's not slower than the pickup truck or the Volvo from yesterday. The last episode, not yesterday. And it's fun to drive. It corners light, it feels nimble, but it's the slowest. But I don't care, it's fun to drive. It's fun to just slide it around and do stupid stuff. But so in terms of fun to drive, 7 out of 10. Good car. Fun to drive. Can't wait to upgrade it. So here we have the 55 Bel-Air after being modified. I have brought back the LS engine from the Chevy from the last episode, and just like the Chevy from the last episode, this car cannot reach full performance rating. It can only go to 386, it cannot go to 400. However, the handling index can reach full bottom left. So in terms of handling, I expect to be much better. And in terms of body, there's not as many parts, but they all look really nice. And you got this like funky, you got that. If you really wanted to, like some weird madman, you could remove the chrome from the sides, but I don't do that. So there are some like fun, unique stuff, and there are a ton of front bumpers. Like, because of the grille and splitter I have, I can't use all of them, but there are a lot of parts for this. So customization, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 customization. Now, onto the 65 Mustang. The 65 Stang. In terms of performance, oddly enough, it cannot reach 10 out of 10 acceleration. I don't know if it's because I'm not using the right gearbox. Like, a 5-speed accelerates better, but the top speed is reduced. But in terms of body, like, there's a decent amount of front bumpers, but like, it's lacking in the amount of uniqueness between a lot of the parts, and that's what really makes me sad. Like, there's some good parts here, like the unique tail lights, like variety of rear bumpers, but fenders, there's only 2 and you can barely like tell the difference. So for customization on the Mustang, I'm gonna have to give about 4 out of 10 for customization on the Mustang. And last, and maybe least, the Volvo. So, the upgraded Volvo 242 DL75, the X, the director's cut. Major issue? Well, not major, it's very minor. But as you can see, the handling index on the left there doesn't fully go down to road. This is the most major thing, considering how it's just barely above, but I hope, knowing it's there, I'll like say, like, oh man, if only it was down there, it'd handle so much better. But ultimately, I don't think that's gonna affect it too much. But that's just one thing. In terms of customization, we got some unique different fenders, and there are many different headlights. If I could, like the one I'm using now, the turbo inlet, taped Riley lights, different colors. You got these, there's like different spoilers. There's only one diffuser and one side skirt, which is weird, so I give it a 6.5 out of 10 in terms of customization. Now, the next thing to be done is take the cars and do a little bit of driving on the test tracks. I'll see you with the results. The upgraded Bel-Air. On the plus side, it's faster than the pickup. Well, it's not too much faster than the pickup. Only 2 seconds. However, on the plus side, I can get it to steer. And as you can see, the car's shaking back and forth. When I flick the stick, it wants to corner. So it has some things going for it. It's fun to drive. It's fun to slip and drift around. So maybe if you're doing something funky, you could make this into a drift build. It's definitely fun to drive. So upgraded? I keep it an 8 out of 10 in terms of upgraded cars. Now it's time for high-speed test. The upgraded Ford Mustang at a 147.31. It is one of the faster cars, only being beaten by the Beetle, as well as the fact it's very fun to drift and drive when upgraded. Like it feels lighter than it probably should. Like there's no need for this car to be as easy to drift and slide as it is. Like this is a full track setup, and it drifts really well. So I have to say, for how it drives as it is, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. Very fun to drift and slide around. But now it is time for the high-speed test. I really dropped the bomb on that one. Being slightly slower by not even half a second to the Bel-Air. Now that was because I did fly through many barriers. This Volvo, quicker than a VW Beetle. It slips and slides out of corners like butter. Maybe that is in part to maybe a car perfectly in the bottom left corner of that handling index isn't the best spot. Maybe you want it just slightly above. But all I know is my sleeper Volvo with a sick turbo is faster than is the fastest car as of now. Not by much, by milliseconds, but in testing it's the fastest. And with how fun it is, I'm hesitant to give it a 10 out of 10 in driving when upgraded, because I've only tested 6 cars so far in this kind of category, but it's very fun to drive. So 10 out of 10 for the time being, but maybe if I ever change that as time goes on, I'll mention it and tell you guys, but right now, this is the most fun car to drive. And the Volvo steals the show, overlapping every other opponent in a 150.76, 10 seconds faster than the Mustang and Bel-Air. This thing could go for the corner at 165 on lap 1. The Chevrolet Bel-Air, giving its fun drive, a decent customization, and it is fun. It's a fun car. I would give the Bel-Air a solid 8 out of 10 all around. It's a good car. Let's do friggin' Chevy beating the Ford Mustang. If you want something to be a good starter car that you can hang on for the entire game, all of them are good picks. But the Mustang, so far, very solid. It corners well. It's fast. It its customization is a little lacking. I do wish there was more, but it's solid, quick, decently light feeling. So if you want a good car, the Mustang is a solid 7 out of 10, I would say. It's fun. Customization is a little bit lacking. Don't show. And finally, the fastest car as of episode 2, the Volvo. I did not expect it to be as quick as it did, especially with a power of 7.8, when the other cars are very close to 10, if not at 10. But it's very fun to drive. The customization is there. 9 out of 10. If you want a good car, go to Sweden. Get a Volvo and V8, swap it and turbocharge it. Yeah, so, there you go. Volvo is today's winner. Congrats, Volvo. You did a good.